Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of modern Lincoln 1-cent coins, and we're going to talk about one very special piece that's been making headlines and turning heads among coin collectors and treasure hunters everywhere. This is the story of the 2015 D-Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary penny that could actually be worth a small fortune. Believe it or not, one of these coins has been valued at a staggering $62,832 in the current market. Yes, you heard that right, over $62,000 for a penny that might just be sitting in your pocket, your piggy bank, or that old jar of loose change you keep at home. So, make sure you watch until the end, because we'll break down everything you need to know about how to identify this rare coin, what makes it so valuable, and how you could potentially strike gold with just one lucky find. Let's start with a little background about the 2015 D Lincoln cent. This coin was minted at the Denver Mint, as indicated by the small D mark just below the year 2015 on the obverse side of the coin. Like all modern Lincoln cents, it features the profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that's been in use since 1909 when the Lincoln cent first debuted. The reverse side features the Union Shield, a design that was introduced in 2010, replacing the Lincoln Memorial reverse that had been used since 1959. The shield design symbolizes the unity of the United States, with 13 vertical stripes representing the original colonies joined under a single banner. It's a simple yet powerful reminder of America's history and resilience. Now, at first glance, the 2015 D penny might not look like anything special. After all, billions of them were minted, more than 4.6 billion to be exact. But here's where things get interesting. Among these billions of coins, there are a few rare varieties, minting errors, and special conditions that can make certain examples worth thousands of dollars. And one of those rare 2015 D Lincoln cents recently sold for an incredible $62,832 due to its unique characteristics and pristine condition. So, what makes this coin so special? There are a few key factors that contribute to its massive value: rarity, condition, and error type. Let's break those down one by one. First, rarity. Although billions of 2015 D Lincoln pennies were struck, only a handful are known to exhibit extremely rare minting errors. The most valuable examples often feature dramatic double die errors, off-center strikes, or planchet defects. A double die error occurs when the coin's design is impressed more than once at slightly different angles, causing certain details, like the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile, to appear doubled. Collectors go crazy for strong double dies because they are visible to the naked eye and are the result of a true minting anomaly. The second factor is condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect, flawless coin in mint state condition. The 2015 D penny that sold for over $62,000 was graded at an incredibly high level, MS 69, meaning it was nearly perfect, with only the slightest microscopic imperfections visible under magnification. High-grade coins like this are exceedingly rare, especially for modern issues that circulate heavily. The combination of a rare error and near-perfect condition sent this coin's value skyrocketing. The third factor is collector demand. Even though the Lincoln cent is one of the most common coins in America, it's also one of the most collected. People love the story of Lincoln, the design, and the long history behind the coin. Because of that, rare modern varieties tend to attract intense competition among collectors, driving prices up even higher. Now, let's talk about what to look for if you want to find one of these valuable 2015 D Lincoln cents yourself. Start by carefully inspecting the obverse side of the coin. Pay close attention to the date and mint mark. Look for signs of doubling, especially on the numbers in the date, the word Liberty, and the phrase, "In God We Trust." If these letters appear thick, shadowed, or slightly overlapping, you may have a double die error. Next, examine the reverse side of the coin. Check the lettering on E pluribus unum and the word 1 cent. Some 2015 D pennies have shown striking misalignments or partial doubling in these areas. Also, look at the shield design. If any parts appear off-center or stretched, that might indicate a striking error. Another thing to look out for is off-metal strikes. Sometimes, due to a minting mishap, a coin can be struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime or nickel. These mistakes are extremely rare, but they do happen, and when they do, they can transform a 1-cent coin into a 5-figure collectible. And don't forget about die cracks and die clashes. These occur when the minting dies used to strike the coins begin to wear or collide improperly, creating raised lines or ghost-like images on the coin's surface. Depending on how dramatic the error is, these can also significantly increase a coin's value. It's important to note that while many 2015 Lincoln cents might look new, only a small number have the characteristics that make them valuable. The key is to find a coin with both rarity and condition. If you find one that seems to be in perfect mint state and has any visible doubling or striking anomalies, it's worth having it professionally graded and authenticated by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. When a coin like this is graded and encapsulated, it not only confirms its authenticity but also preserves its condition for the future. Collectors are often willing to pay a premium for graded coins because they know exactly what they're getting. Now, let's take a moment to look at how the market for Lincoln cents has evolved in recent years. Decades ago, most collectors focused on older wheat cents, especially those from the early 1900s. But as more people began exploring coin collecting and searching through modern change, the demand for rare modern varieties exploded. Today, even coins minted in the 2000s and 2010s can fetch huge sums if they feature the right errors or conditions. The 2015 Lincoln penny has become one of the most talked about modern cents in recent years, not only because of its impressive sale price but also because it represents how unpredictable the coin market can be. One simple pocket change find can completely change someone's life. Many collectors have shared stories of discovering rare error coins in circulation or from unsearched bank rolls, leading to incredible discoveries worth thousands of dollars. If you're interested in finding one of these valuable coins, start by searching through rolls of pennies from your local bank, or even going through old jars and containers you have at home. Make sure you have a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe handy to help you spot tiny details and doubling. Good lighting is also crucial. Many collectors use desk lamps with adjustable brightness to highlight design details more clearly. You don't need to be an expert to start. The best way to learn is by studying coins, comparing known error varieties online, and using free resources like the PCGS CoinFacts database. Over time, your eyes will become trained to notice differences in font thickness, spacing, and design irregularities. Now let's talk about how a coin like the 2015 Lincoln cent could possibly reach a value of $62,832. In most cases, the high value comes from a combination of extreme rarity, pristine condition, and collector enthusiasm. For example, if only a handful of such coins exist and they're known to be nearly perfect, collectors will compete fiercely to add one to their collection. Auction bidding wars often push prices far beyond expectations, especially when a coin is certified by top grading services and displayed at major numismatic auctions. What's fascinating about this particular coin is that it shows how even modern US coins can hold tremendous value. Most people associate rare and valuable coins with older dates, the 1909 SVDB penny or the 1955 double die, for example. But the truth is that modern minting technology isn't perfect. Even today, minting errors occur, and when they do, they can create coins that become instant collector legends. For example, a few 2015 Lincoln cents were discovered with major die breaks across Lincoln's head, forming what collectors call a cut error. Others had dramatic off-center strikes, where parts of the design were missing or shifted. These coins are often one of a kind and can easily sell for thousands of dollars each. It's also important to note that the value of coins like these tends to increase over time, especially as more collectors become aware of them and as fewer pristine examples remain available. If you find a high-grade error coin, holding onto it could be a smart investment. In today's video, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in modern US history, the 1990 60 Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent coin. At first glance, it looks like any ordinary penny you might have in your pocket, but believe it or not, this coin could be worth a small fortune today. with one known specimen valued at an incredible $52,836. Yes, you heard that right. A single 1-cent coin from 1996 minted in Denver can be worth nearly $53,000 depending on its condition, rarity, and certain minting errors that make it one of the most desirable coins among collectors. So if you've got some old coins lying around, it might be time to take a closer look. Before we talk about why this coin is so valuable, let's go back to where it all started, the creation of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln 1-cent coin was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. It became the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait, and since then, it has remained one of the most collected and recognized coins in the world. Over the decades, the Lincoln cent has gone through many design and metal composition changes, but the face of Lincoln has remained a constant symbol of American heritage and history. The 1996 Lincoln penny was minted at the Denver Mint, one of the main facilities responsible for producing billions of U.S. coins every year. During that year alone, over 6 billion Lincoln cents rolled out of the Denver Mint, which means they were common in circulation. However, even among billions, a few special pieces stand out, and those are the ones that carry minting mistakes, double strikes, off-center designs, or rare die varieties. Those rare defects, when found in high mint state condition, are what drive the coin's value up into the tens of thousands of dollars. Now let's talk about the appearance and features of the 1996 Lincoln cent. The obverse side of the coin, or the front, shows the familiar bust of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. You'll notice the word Liberty on the left, the date 1996 on the right, and just below the date, the small letter D which stands for the Denver Mint. On the reverse side, you'll see the Lincoln Memorial, a design that was used on all Lincoln cents from 1959 until 2008. Above the memorial are the words United States of America, with the denomination 1 cent below it, and the Latin phrase E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many one, written across the top of the memorial. What makes the 1996 penny so valuable isn't just its design, but its rarity in pristine condition and certain unique mint errors. Most 1996 pennies you'll find in circulation are made of copper-plated zinc, weighing about 2.5 grams. However, there are a few rare examples that have been found with unusual features, such as doubled dies on Lincoln's eye or the date, off-center strikes that misalign the design, and even coins struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the metal blank used was not intended for the penny. These types of errors make the coin extremely desirable to collectors and can fetch huge sums at auctions. One of the key things that affects a coin's value is its grade. Coin grading is a process that evaluates a coin's condition based on its wear, strike quality, luster, and eye appeal. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin that shows no signs of wear or damage under magnification. A 1996 Lincoln cent in average circulated condition might only be worth a few cents, but in mint state condition, especially those graded MS67 or higher, the value can soar into the thousands. The record sale for a 1996 Lincoln penny reached an astonishing $52,836, making it one of the most expensive modern pennies ever sold. So, why did that particular coin reach such a high price? The answer lies in its rarity and flawless preservation. That coin was struck with an exceptionally sharp strike, perfect surfaces, and vibrant original red color. The grading service that evaluated it confirmed its superb condition, and because so few coins survived in such pristine state, collectors were willing to pay a premium. Remember, when it comes to coins, condition is king. Even a tiny scratch or spot of discoloration can drastically reduce its value. Now, let's explore some of the known varieties and errors that make certain 1996 pennies so special. One of the most sought-after varieties is the doubled die obverse. This happens when the die, which stamps the design onto the coin, is slightly misaligned during the hubbing process. The result is a noticeable doubling on letters, numbers, or parts of Lincoln's image. If you spot a penny where the date, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust appears doubled, that could be a double die error, and it could make your penny worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another error to look for is the off-center strike. These coins show the design shifted to one side, leaving part of the planchet blank. The more off-center the design, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. Collectors love these because they're visual proof of minting mistakes that slip through quality control. There are also broad strike errors, where the coin was struck without a collar, causing it to spread out wider than normal. Then there are clipped planchet errors, where part of the coin's edge is missing due to a misfeed during production. These types of errors might sound like defects, but in the world of numismatics, they can make a coin highly valuable because of their rarity. Another point of interest is the small difference between copper and zinc versions. While most 1990-60 pennies were made from zinc with a thin copper coating, a few era coins have been found struck on older copper planchets from previous years. These coins are heavier, around 3.11 grams instead of 2.5, and their metallic composition makes them stand out. If you find one of these and have it authenticated, you could be sitting on a small fortune. If you're wondering how to check if your penny might be worth something, start by examining it under a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look carefully at the date, the mint mark, and Lincoln's face. Any signs of doubling, extra thickness, or misalignment could be a clue that your coin is special. Next, weigh the coin using a digital scale to see if it matches the standard weight. If it's heavier or lighter, that could indicate a planchet error. Finally, pay attention to the color. Coins with full red luster are worth more than those with brown or dull surfaces. Now let's talk about grading and professional evaluation. If you believe you have a rare or valuable 1990-60 penny, it's a good idea to get it certified by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations authenticate coins, assign them a grade, and encapsulate them in protective holders with labels that show their details. Having your coin graded by one of these services can significantly increase its market value, because collectors and investors trust their expertise. Over the years, collectors have reported finding near-perfect 1990-60 pennies in sealed mint sets, where the coins were never circulated and preserved in original condition. If you have any mint sets or coin rolls from the 1990s, it might be worth checking them carefully. You never know. You could be sitting on a hidden treasure that's been overlooked for decades. Let's not forget the history surrounding this coin's release year. In 1996, the U.S. Mint was continuing to produce billions of Lincoln cents despite debates about whether to discontinue the penny due to rising production costs. The penny's composition had already changed in 1982 from mostly copper to a cheaper zinc core with copper plating, but the design remained unchanged. That means even though the 1990-60 penny looks ordinary, small production flaws and high-quality strikes can make a world of difference. Collectors also value this coin for its place in the long history of the Lincoln Cent series. The Lincoln Memorial Reverse, introduced in 1959, marked the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and symbolized his legacy of unity and equality. The design remained on the back of the penny until 2008. Making coins from this era a nostalgic part of American culture. In 2010, the reverse design changed to feature the Union Shield, ending a 50-year chapter in coin history. Now, when we talk about modern coins being worth tens of thousands of dollars, people often wonder, how can something so recent become so valuable? The answer lies in the law of rarity and demand. Even though billions of 1990-60 pennies were minted, finding one in perfect condition with unique characteristics is incredibly hard. Out of billions, only a few may have survived untouched, with perfect color, strike, and luster. That scarcity drives collectors to compete, which pushes the value to astronomical levels. Welcome to the channel, everyone. Today we're diving deep into one of the most interesting and often overlooked modern Lincoln 1-cent coins that could be sitting right in your pocket change right now. We're talking about the 1987 D Mint Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has shocked collectors with its recent rise in value. Believe it or not, one of these small copper-plated zinc coins sold for an astonishing $79,982. Yes, you heard that right. Nearly $80,000 for a single penny that most people wouldn't even think twice about spending. So make sure you stay tuned till the very end, because in this video, We'll go through everything you need to know about this coin, its fascinating history, design, minting details, grading factors, and what errors and varieties could make your 1987 D penny worth a fortune. Now let's begin with a bit of history. The Lincoln cent has been in circulation since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it became the first U.S. coin to feature the image of a real historical person. The Lincoln penny went through several design and composition changes over the decades, but the 1987 D penny represents an interesting time in the series. By 1987, the U.S. Mint had already switched from the traditional bronze composition to a copper-plated zinc core. That change took place in 1982, meaning the 1987 penny is primarily made of 97.5% zinc and just 2.5% copper plating. It weighs about 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19 millimeters. The D Mint mark stands for the Denver Mint, one of the primary production facilities for U.S. coins. In 1987, the Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents, specifically over 4.5 billion of them. With such massive mintage, it's natural to think that these coins are common and not worth much. But as we'll discover, there are certain rare variations and high-grade examples that can be incredibly valuable. Let's talk about the design details first. On the obverse, or the front of the coin, you'll find the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head is the word, Liberty, on the left, and the motto, In God We Trust, at the top, while the date, 1987, sits on the right side, followed by the D Mint mark. The reverse features the iconic image of the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo, which replaced the wheat ears design in 1959. The inscriptions include United States of America, e pluribus unum, and the denomination, 1 cent. If you look closely at the memorial on a well-struck coin, you can actually see a tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, symbolizing unity and remembrance. What makes the 1987 D penny so fascinating to collectors is not just its design but the rare conditions and errors that make certain examples extremely valuable. Now, when we talk about a penny being worth tens of thousands of dollars, we're usually referring to a coin in the absolute highest condition known as a mint state or proof-like condition, often graded by professional services such as PCGS or NGC. For example, a 1987 D penny graded MS69 by PCGS, near flawless with a sharp strike, full luster, and perfect surfaces, can easily reach values above $70,000 in auctions because so few exist in such pristine condition. Another major factor in value comes from mint errors. The 1980s was a period when several interesting minting mistakes occurred, and the 1987 D penny was no exception. Collectors have found double die obverse where parts of the date, lettering, or even Lincoln's profile showed doubling when viewed under magnification. There are also off-center strikes where the coin was misaligned during minting, resulting in part of the design missing. These can range from slight misalignments worth a few dollars to extreme off-center errors that fetch hundreds or even thousands. Then there are broad strikes, die cracks, clipped planchets, and wrong planchet errors, where a coin was mistakenly struck on a metal blank meant for another denomination, like a dime or a foreign coin. One such rare 1987 D penny struck on a dime planchet sold for several $1,000s because of its unique composition and error status. Collectors are also on the lookout for repunched mint marks, known as RPMs. Before the mid-1990s, mint marks were punched into the dies by hand, so sometimes the D mint mark was struck more than once, resulting in visible doubling. These coins are quite collectible and can command high prices depending on how dramatic the repunching is. Let's also talk about the surface quality and luster of the coin. A typical 1987 D penny found in circulation will show signs of wear, discoloration, and dullness from years of handling. However, coins that were never circulated, those kept in original rolls, mint sets, or hoards, can retain their brilliant mint red color. Collectors use color designations such as RD, red, RB, red-brown, and BN, brown, to describe the coin's color quality. Full red examples with no spotting or tarnish are much rarer and more desirable, Another crucial detail is the strike quality. Coins struck early in the die's life tend to have sharper details, especially around Lincoln's beard and hair, and the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. A strong strike with no die wear adds to the coin's eye appeal and value. Now, you might be wondering, with so many of these coins produced, how can one be worth $79,982? The answer lies in rarity within perfection. Millions of these pennies were produced, but only a handful survived in absolutely flawless condition, coins with no bag marks, scratches, discoloration, or minting flaws. These high-grade survivors are so rare that when one hits the auction block, it can attract fierce bidding from collectors and investors. The record-breaking 1987 D penny sold for $79,982 was a near-perfect specimen graded MS69 red by PCGS. It had an incredible mirror-like surface, deep luster, and flawless details. It was part of a private collection that had been preserved for decades, and when it came up for sale, it drew attention from top collectors across the country. But even if you don't have a mint state 69 penny, don't lose hope. Coins in slightly lower grades like MS67 or MS68 can still be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on their color, eye appeal, and market demand. So the next time you go through your change jar or old coin collection, take a careful look at those 1987 D pennies. You never know, you might be holding a treasure without realizing it.to examine your coin properly. You can use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the date, the mint mark, the lettering, and the details on Lincoln's hair and jacket. Check for doubling, cracks, or other abnormalities that could indicate a mint error. Pay attention to the overall color. If it still shines bright red like it just left the mint, it could be worth grading. Speaking of grading, professional grading is one of the best ways to authenticate and determine the true value of your coin. Services like PCGS and NGC assign grades on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. A certified coin not only helps you get the most accurate value but also gives confidence to buyers if you ever decide to sell it. Now, let's talk about the current market trends for Lincoln pennies from the 1980s. Over the past few years, collectors have been showing increased interest in modern coins, especially high-grade examples that are hard to find. As older collections are being rediscovered and new collectors join the hobby, the demand for premium quality 1980s Lincoln cents has grown significantly. This has caused prices to rise steadily, especially for top-graded coins with red luster. The 1987 D penny, in particular, stands out because it's from a transitional period when the mint had perfected the copper-plated zinc process. This means coins from that year tend to have better strikes compared to earlier zinc cents, making them more visually appealing when preserved well. Even circulated examples can hold some value if they feature unique errors or are in exceptionally clean condition. You might see rolls of uncirculated 1987 D pennies selling for more than face value online, but single coins with striking errors or perfect color can fetch premium prices from dedicated collectors. Another interesting fact about the 1987 D penny is that it serves as a reminder of how small details can make a big difference in coin collecting. It shows that even coins from our everyday lives, the ones we overlook, can hold hidden treasures. The excitement of finding one valuable coin keeps this hobby alive and thrilling for so many people. If you want to start searching, begin with your loose change, check coin rolls from banks, and don't forget to inspect old jars or boxes where coins might have been saved over the years. Many people unknowingly have valuable coins sitting in storage. Also, remember to store your coins properly. Exposure to moisture, air, or direct sunlight can cause spotting and discoloration, reducing their value. Welcome back everyone to another exciting video where we uncover the hidden treasures that might just be sitting right in your pocket change. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in the Lincoln Penny series, the 1974 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent coin. Believe it or not, some rare examples of this coin have sold for as much as $67,000 in the current coin market. That's right, a single 1-cent coin could be worth more than a luxury car, all because of a few special details that make it incredibly rare and sought after by collectors. Let's start by taking a closer look at the background of this coin. The 1974 Lincoln penny belongs to the famous Lincoln Memorial Cent series, which ran from 1959 to 2008. This series features the bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo. The coin was struck in three main locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins struck in Philadelphia bear no mint mark, which is why the 1974 no mint mark penny comes from the Philadelphia Mint. While most of these coins are extremely common, a small handful are extraordinary due to minting errors or rare varieties that make them worth tens of thousands of dollars. Now, what makes the 1974 no mint mark Lincoln penny so special that some examples are selling for $67,000? To understand that, we need to look at the composition and minting history of that year. In 1974, the U.S. Mint experimented with making pennies from aluminum instead of the traditional copper alloy. The reason for this change was the rising cost of copper in the early 1970s. Over 1.5 million aluminum cents were struck for testing, but they were never officially released for circulation. Most were later destroyed, but a few escaped into the hands of collectors and mint employees. Today, these 1974 aluminum pennies are among the rarest coins in American history. However, there's another side to this story. The 1974 no mint mark copper pennies from Philadelphia are also famous for having several rare error varieties, which can bring huge prices depending on their condition, strike, and unique characteristics. Some have double die obverse, off-center strikes, or strong die cracks, while others have unusually sharp strikes that make them stand out from the rest. These rare errors can turn an ordinary 1-cent coin into a collector's dream worth thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars. So, how can you tell if you might have one of these valuable 1974 no mint mark Lincoln pennies? The first thing you need to do is check the coin's condition. Collectors and grading companies like PCGS or NGC use a grading scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect uncirculated coin. The higher the grade, the higher the value. A 1974 penny in heavily circulated condition might only be worth a cent or two, but in mint state condition, especially above MS65, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The most valuable examples are usually those that have been preserved perfectly since the day they were minted, showing no scratches, discoloration, or wear. Next, look for doubling on the obverse side, especially on the date and the letters Liberty and I in God We Trust. A double die obverse is one of the most sought-after errors, and it can dramatically increase a coin's value. You can use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to inspect the details carefully. If you notice any signs of doubling or unusual texture, you might have something truly special. Also, pay attention to the coin's color and luster. Some 1974 pennies have a bright red finish that makes them more desirable to collectors. A full red example graded MS67RD can fetch enormous prices at auction, while brown or red-brown examples are worth less but still collectible if in high grade. In fact, one exceptionally preserved 1974 no mint mark penny sold for over $67,000 because of its pristine red luster, perfect surfaces, and strong strike, a true gem that stood out among millions of coins struck that year. Another interesting detail is that 1974 marks one of the last years the U.S. Mint used nearly pure copper in Lincoln cents before switching to copper-plated zinc in 1982. Because of that, pre-1982 pennies like the 1974 version are made of 95% copper and weigh about 3.11 grams. Some collectors even save these for their metal value, but the real money lies in the rare varieties and errors that can turn a simple penny into a small fortune. Now, let's talk about how you can identify if your 1974 penny might be one of those experimental aluminum versions. An authentic 1974 aluminum penny will be much lighter, weighing around 0.93 grams, and will have a dull silver-gray color instead of the normal copper tone. It also won't stick to a magnet since aluminum is non-magnetic. If you ever find a coin like this, do not attempt to clean it or alter it in any way. Contact a professional coin grading service immediately. These coins are extremely valuable and rare, but also subject to legal restrictions since they were never meant for circulation. The U.S. Mint has attempted to recover some of these coins in the past, so expert advice is essential before selling or showcasing one. Besides aluminum and error varieties, collectors also look for proof strikes. The San Francisco Mint produced proof versions in 1974, but the Philadelphia No Mint Mark version occasionally shows proof-like qualities due to strong die polishing or early die states. These coins can exhibit mirror-like surfaces and sharp details, which significantly increase their value. When it comes to auction records, the 1974 No Mint Mark Lincoln Cent has an impressive track record. High-grade examples certified as MS-67 or MS-68 have sold for thousands, with the highest recorded sale reaching an incredible $67,000. These coins attract attention from serious numismatists and investors who see them as pieces of history, not just small bits of copper. Let's talk a bit about how you can properly store and protect valuable pennies. Even a small scratch can reduce a coin's value dramatically, especially for high-grade specimens. It's best to use coin flips made of mylar or hard plastic capsules to prevent oxidation. Always handle coins by their edges and avoid touching the surfaces with bare fingers. The natural oils from your skin can cause toning and spots that lower the coin's grade over time. You might be wondering where to find valuable 1974 No Mint Mark Lincoln pennies. The best place to start is your own pocket change, coin jars, or inherited coin collections. Many people have old pennies stored away without realizing they could be worth a small fortune. You can also check local coin shops, estate sales, or online auction sites like eBay or heritage auctions. Always look for coins certified by reputable grading companies to ensure authenticity and protect your investment. Another important aspect of coin collecting is understanding market trends. The value of rare coins can fluctuate based on collector demand, metal prices, and overall interest in numismatics. Right now, the market for Lincoln cents remains strong, especially for rare varieties from the 1970s. As more people become interested in coin collecting, the demand for high-quality examples continues to rise, which is why coins like the 1974 No Mint Mark penny can command such impressive prices. Now let's imagine you found one of these valuable coins. What should you do next? The first step is to have it professionally graded and authenticated. Services like PCGS, NGC, or Annex can provide an official grade that confirms its condition and authenticity. A coin that's been authenticated will always sell for more than an ungraded coin, especially at major auctions. If you're new to coin collecting, this might be the perfect time to start learning. The Lincoln Cent series offers an incredible variety of collectible dates, mint marks, and errors. Some coins are worth only a few cents, while others can change your life financially. The key is patience, research, and careful observation. Every coin tells a story of American history, art, and the evolution of our money. Before we wrap up, let's recap the most important points. The 1974 No Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent coin was struck in Philadelphia and made mostly of copper. While most are worth face value, rare varieties, error coins, and perfectly preserved examples have sold for as much as $67,000. The factors that increase value include minting errors, doubling, high grade, bright red luster, and strong strike. Always check your coins carefully, as even the smallest detail could make a huge difference in value. Thanks for watching and staying with me through this deep dive into the fascinating world of the 1974 Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed learning about this coin and its incredible history, don't forget to subscribe for more videos about rare coins, their hidden secrets, and how you can identify valuable pieces in your own collection.